Hey y'all, hey, so come with me as I make the worst sandwich ever. First, I'm going to start off by cutting off the penicillin on my bread, and then I'm going to check to see if it's good elsewhere and cut it right down the middle. Now, be careful when you're working with colorful, funny looking knives because I cut myself, all right, with this crazy looking knife. But anyway, I'm going to cut this bread in half the long way. The smaller piece, that's the size you're going to use if you're trying to go for low sodium. I'm going to cut the ends off here of my zucchini and cut it the long way. I cut the strips the long way, and before I knew it, I had an entire cutting sheet of my squash, or rather zucchini. And so I salted them and I patted them dry, even though I did not get myself doing that on footage. And in a heated skillet, an oiled skillet, I just went ahead and put these in there and let them cook for about 2 minutes on each side. Realized that I didn't have turmeric, and if you know, you know how I feel about turmeric. Then I tried to flip one and it was looking very pale. So I was like, nah, let me see what the other boy's talking about. And they was looking good. They was looking right. So I went ahead and flipped the rest of these and let them cook a little longer on the other side before I flipped them as well. And the trick here is to try not to touch them too much. Let them get a good sear on them. While those were searing on the other side, I went ahead and cut up some tomato and some mozzarella. This sandwich calls for fresh mozzarella, and I didn't have that, and I didn't want to use shreds. So here's my smaller piece of bread. I'm going to finish this sandwich off with the largest piece because I just wanted to hurry up and use this bread, obviously. You want to use a smaller piece of French or Italian bread if you're going to use the rolls. I'm going to spread on some tomato pesto along with the zucchini, tomatoes, and some basil. My basil went bad and I was so sad. Worst sandwich ever. But anyway, I added this mozzarella. It calls for a fresh mozzarella. So I sent someone to the store to get me these, and they came with the little balls. I just cut them in half. Also, I spreaded some balsamic vinaigrette on top and just topped this sandwich off. I put this entire roll in my skillet to go ahead and toast up. Look at it. This is the before. Looks yummy, right? After about 3 to 5 minutes on each side, I came back with this crusty, toasty thing. I kind of charred the other side, the top side, but it was still good. Or at least the toast on it was. I cut this in half, and I am going to go ahead and spread some guacamole on this thing. But first, let me show it off. Look, ooh. Ooh. This is what it looks like on the inside. Very low sodium, especially if you decide to if you want a bigger sandwich, you can use the low sodium bread that I use in a different video. It's very much toastable, just like this bread, and it sears well also. So I'm going to spread some guacamole on this and just enjoy this sandwich. Went from stale parts, turning basil, cut hand, overly charred top, to a delicious snack, a delicious lunch. I could not put this thing down. Look at, ooh, toasty. Why do we do this? Why is that important to show a good attribute in a sandwich? Toasty, so delicious. Every time it's not on camera, it's because I'm taking a bite.
That girl hungry.
When I looked over and saw the remaining guacamole, take a bite. This was absolutely the worst sandwich I've ever made, but it was the tastiest sandwich I've ever made also. And by the time I was done and finished every morsel of the sandwich, my stomach exploded.